pages of a book in the gutter. The pages were wrinkled and splattered with mud, but they were a beginning. There were words on these pages, words to learn. Frederick brushed the mud off. He smoothed the pages out. He took them home to study. Then Frederick found an old Webster's spelling book. Its cover was torn. Its pages were tattered. But there were words in that book, many more words to learn. So Frederick took the book home too. He had to be careful. If he were caught, Frederick knew he would be stopped. His precious pile of words would be taken away from him. Sometimes he was sent on an errand. Then he took his spelling book with him. He did the errand as quickly as he could and used the extra few minutes to study. At night, when everyone else was asleep, he studied by the light of the moon. And he learned, but not fast enough. He still needed help. Frederick had an idea. He knew many of the white boys who lived in the neighborhood. They were very poor. Their clothes were not as good as Frederick's. Often they didn't have enough to eat, but they could go to school. They already knew how to read and write. Now Frederick got them to teach him. Their names were Bill, Gus, Joe, and Charlie. Sometimes Frederick paid for his lesson with a piece of bread spread thick with butter. Sometimes the boys gave him a lesson for free. But sometimes the boys were not interested in giving lessons at all, not even for bread and butter. Then Frederick had to trick them. One day he said to his friend Gus, "I can write better than you can." "No, you can't," Gus said. "I go to school, and you're only just learning." But Frederick said again, "I can write better than you can." "No, you can't." Gus was getting mad. "Yes, I can. Can't, can." Finally, Gus lost his temper. "Prove it," he shouted. Frederick picked up a piece of chalk and drew all the letters he knew on a fence. Gus began to laugh. "Look," he cried, "you've made half of them upside down." Frederick wanted to smile, but he kept a straight face. "All right," he said, "show me how to make them right side up." And Gus did. And so, one way or another, Frederick learned. He learned until he could read and write as well as any of his friends. But he was still a slave. When Frederick was 12 years old, he began to help one of his friends shine shoes. He didn't get much money, but he saved every penny until he had 50 cents. Then he bought a book. It was called The Columbian Orator, a book of stories and poems and speeches. Frederick read them all, but over and over again he returned to the story of a master and his slave. The slave wanted to be free. "Prove that slavery is wrong," the master said. "Then I will set you free." The slave argued so well he changed his master's mind, and his master set him free. Oh, what a wonderful story that was. But that was the trouble. That's all it was, a story in a book, and not real life. One day, Frederick sat listening to his white friends. They were unhappy because they had to mind their parents all the time. Frederick listened and grew more and more angry. He could stand it no longer. "You all feel so sorry for yourselves," he burst out. "Well, I don't feel sorry for you. You have to mind your parents for a few years, but then you'll be grown up. Then you'll be free. I have to mind my master forever. I am a slave for life. Is that fair?" "For life?" Bill exclaimed. "It's a shame." Joe put his hand on Frederick's shoulder. Charlie looked down at his feet. And Gus said, "You'll be free someday, Freddie. I just know you will." Frederick turned his head quickly. He didn't want his friends to see the tears in his eyes.